Okay, so welcome. So what we're doing tonight is we are carrying on from what we did last week, which was some things to make in advance so we're not totally crazy on the last couple of days before Christmas. Last week we made the fruit mince for the mince pies, made the stuffing, which is in the freezer, and I made the fruit for the, I made the brandy butter. I was busy last week. Got all the fruit ready for the Christmas cake we're going to finish off today. And Pearl, what did you make? I've totally forgotten.
Made the liqueur, berry liqueur, and what else?
You made that last week. Didn't you make something last week for us?
Yeah, I made the glaze.
That's right, the glaze for ham. Yeah, perfect.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So this week we're moving on from that, and I'm going to use the fruit mince in the mince pies. So I'm making gluten-free mince pies, just the pastry, and I'll put them together because it's a little bit different with managing gluten-free pastry to ungluten-free pastry. And Nicole's going to show you some short crust pastry. I'm going to get the cake together. It takes 4 hours to cook, so I'm not going to cook it, but I'll get it ready so I can cook it tomorrow. And I'm going to start with a gravy so that you can pre-make this gravy pretty much, and then you just have a few things to do just to finish it off on the day. So that will save a little bit of time. And Mary is going to do, if we can get her on, Mary's going to it's a cashew cream, so it's a brandy cashew cream. So it's a vegan alternative or a dairy-free alternative for you know, to go with mince pies and Christmas pudding and all that sort of stuff. All right, so I'm going to turn these thermixes back on because I've been standing here chatting, and I'm just going to grab something from the fridge that I couldn't get out till the last minute. Okay, so all right, we will just very quickly go through the CM6. Seen it briefly at a friend's house, but I'll just quickly do a quick run through. Actually, no, I'll start the gravy first and we can do a quick run through on the other one. Just wait for this to fire up. So yeah, so the gravy is called the Make Ahead gravy on Cookie Doo. I've saved it in my week here. The things for today, I think it's this one. Get Ahead turkey gravy. All right. Just bring you up as close as I can there and start cooking. So I have in here down the bottom, of course, I have a garlic clove somewhere. Here it is. Right off. Well, 1 garlic clove. I've got 100 grams of, it's a little bit over, I think, but it's onion. 60 grams of carrot. I think this is a bit over as well. Anyway, so if you're really accurate, just close your eyes and don't look at that. But I don't think honesty matters in gravy. So I'm going to add the 30 grams of olive oil. So my scales are up here. Add my All right, we'll pop the lid on with the measuring cup in there. And it's just going to chop, set the 5 seconds. I've just got to turn it up to speed 4, which is around here. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what it's done, but actually I'm going to chop it again because I want it a bit finer than that. I'm going to go back. So this is the great thing. You can always go back and just do it again. So 5 seconds, speed 4 again. So that's chopped up quite a bit more there.
Mandy, do you want to make me co-host so that I can let people in?
I thought I had.
Doesn't look like it. I don't see the waiting room, but others.
Okay, let me just come up here. Find you. No, it says you are co-host.
No, because per se there are people in the waiting room, but I don't see it.
Well, look, what I'll do is I will go. I can't make you host.
Yeah, actually, I can see I'm co-host now. Yes.
Good. Okay.
But I still can't see waiting room. Strange. Pearl, maybe ask your. Okay, I see one now.
All right. Okay. All right. So with the measuring cup still in place, it's now going to cook. So 3 minutes, 120 degrees, just got to turn to speed 1. Okay. So whilst that's doing that, we'll have a quick little run through of the TM6. So here we've got our time, our temperature, our speed. Whichever one of these dials is large, is what's controlled with this knob here. So I can turn my time up here. My temperature, I can turn up. All these are on a thermostat up to 120 degrees. So it's going to go up to whatever temperature you set it at and then click off. And if you want to steam, you have it on varoma temperature. And we do have the varoma that sits on top when we are steaming. And also the simmering basket, which can sit inside here and you can steam in there. So. All right. Then this is our speed. I'll just turn that up obviously as required. And if I flick this way, we've got our scales. Scales are 1 gram increments. Absolutely love the scales. I can put something on there. I can tear and I can keep adding if it's going to balance. So you can just keep adding things onto that. We've got dough mode, which is for kneading the bread. We actually use that in the pastry, so you'll see that working. Turbo is just super fast, cleans your blades, just fantastic. The pre-clean, I'm totally in love with the pre-clean, and my husband hates it because he reckons it's too noisy. But I use it all the time, and it's just fantastic. So you literally, you can do dough, universal, fat or caramel or browning mode for your pre-clean, and it's the best thing. It really is. Got a blend, we've got an egg boiler, we've got a kettle, we've got a warm-up mode for heating up soups and casseroles and things, thicken mode, rice cooker, fermentation for yogurt, slow cooking and sous vide. Most of those functions I just use in guided cooking, but they are all there and they are just fantastic. Right, now we're going to come back into here. We're going to go into my week. And I'm going to start the pastry for the gluten-free mince pies. All right. So what I actually did before, a little bit earlier, was I didn't have any caster sugar, so I just milled some caster sugar. And as always, if you don't have to wash the bowl, you don't wash the bowl. So the bowl has not been washed. So with the pastry, it says blanched almonds. I don't have blanched. I could blanch them, but I just use the raw almonds. And a little bit further on, it asks for buckwheat flour. Now I've got the buckwheat groats here. So all I've done, instead of, so what it's going to ask me to do, I'm going to mill the almonds next, but I put the buckwheat in, so all that is milled as well at the same time. So it's just by reading through the recipe, I just saw that was an easier way to actually manage, instead of making the flour first and so on. So they're all going in. And I'm going to pop the lid on. Now, in 10 seconds, I'm just going to turn to speed 7. We'll be quite noisy because we've got nuts and buckwheat, which are both hard, on the stainless steel bowl. So there we go. We've got our almond meal and our buckwheat flour all mixed up together there. Before we keep going with that, I'm just coming back to the gravy. Gravy takes quite a while to cook, so just trying to fit that in. Okay, 1 packet of turkey giblets. Okay, now I've just got necks, and I couldn't get a turkey neck, so I've got 2 chicken necks, and they are going in. A funny story. When our dog was a puppy, it was literally, it could sit in my hand, okay? And they said, you know, oh, you can give them chicken necks. She swallowed the whole thing. And we were absolutely having fits because it was as long as her. And I thought, we've had this dog 5 days and it's going to have surgery. But it's all right because they were raw. She broke the whole thing down and there was absolutely no problem. It's incredible. All right. I can never go past when I see a chicken neck, thinking about that. So they're literally sitting in there, and now it's going to cook. It's automatically gone on to reverse because it doesn't want to chop the chicken neck up, and it's only going to go on to speed stir. So speed spoon, which is just literally very, very slow, but it's just going to sort of brown that in that time. And back to our pastry. So now we've got our buckwheat flour and we've got our almond meal in there. And then in here, I don't know if you can see the difference. I've got 2 different things in here. I've got coconut flour and I've got the arrowroot flour. So they're adding those in. And that was my buckwheat flour that I would have had to have made. My unsalted butter, again, I had to keep that in the fridge. So I have 160 grams of unsalted butter here. Just cut into little pieces. Grams of caster sugar, which is obviously what I made a little bit earlier. So there's my caster sugar made from some raw sugar. 1 teaspoon of natural vanilla extract. This was on special. And you know what? I would make my own vanilla bean paste, but vanilla beans are so expensive at the moment. And the supermarkets have got a lot of Christmassy things on special. I don't like the fact that it's in the plastic, but as I said, the vanilla beans are so expensive. So I'm just going to put a squirt of that in there. And I'm going to put the lid on. So it's just going to get that more mixing up for 6 seconds. I just got to turn to speed 6. All right, and I've got to add 50 grams of water. And what I tend to do with this is just use the measuring cup. So I'll just tear that. The measuring cup actually is a measuring cup. There's 50 mils on one side and 100 mils on the other. I'm just going to put some cold water in there. And just pour it through the top. There we go. 2 egg yolks. Got these here. So I'm making meringues this week because I made another batch of the pastry earlier on. And the other thing I've made today is salted caramel ice cream. And I need a lot of egg yolks for that too. So I think I've got 10 egg whites to deal with. So make some meringues. Put the lid back on there. And now this is the kneading function. So it's going to just knead it for 30 seconds. A lot easier than kneading it by hand. Move this out because once it's finished, I'm going to wrap it up in our bread mats. So that is done, and it just says to transfer it on bread mat. So this is one of our host rewards, the mixture is quite wet too, by the way. So don't be surprised. But this pastry is for you, Robin. But what I'm actually going to do as well is it does suggest that you can flour it. So I've just got some arrowroot flour in here. I'm just going to flour this because the mixture is quite wet, as I mentioned. Not that it will really stick on there, but you can see that's quite. All right. Now, just to clean all that extra, get rid of the stuff around the blades there, which is a little bit difficult to scrape off. I'll pop that back on there, pop my lid on, and I'm going to save my recipe there. I'm going to come across here to Turbo. Now, Turbo is just our super fast thing I mentioned before. Click on there and just turn. What's really, really important with Turbo is that you, for the lid to unlock, you have to get out of Turbo. The easiest way to do it is actually just to hit the home button and it will then unlock the lid. But it will not unlock the lid unless you are out of that Turbo function. So it's pretty important to know. So you can see there how much cleaner the blades are now. And my mixture is round on the side. So I'm just going to scrape the rest of that out. Okay. Clean finger. And it just asked me, go back into the recipe there, shape into a ball. So I'm just going to literally, I've got that flour on it just to take up a bit of that mixture, for the dampness of it, and just shape it into a ball, fold it up, and that has to then go and rest in the fridge for about half an hour. So I'll just go and do that and give my hands a quick little wash. All right. Okay, next, wrap in plastic wrap and place it in the fridge for a minimum of 30 minutes. So we're just going to leave that one there, come back to our gravy. So remember we've had the giblets in here, or the necks and all that, the veggies in there. Next, using tongs, transfer the giblets to the simmering basket. So I've got my simmering basket here. And I'm just going to do that over here, otherwise I'm going to get stuff dribbling everywhere. So that's one of them. Very helpful. The other one's underneath the blade. There we go. Got that. All right, so I've done that. So I'm going to pop the simmering basket inside there, and I'm going to add my water. Just because it's easier than working out. Actually, no, I probably will have to take the simmering basket out anyway. I've got to add some more things, but just thought rather than dripping everywhere, it will drip into the bowl. Oops, a little bit more. Okay. All right, so I've just gone a little bit over there, 1200 water. All right, so I'm going to remove the simmering basket using the hook on my spatula. And just so you know, the water actually comes up to halfway through the simmering basket here. I'm going to sit that in there because I'm going to wash that bowl. Half a teaspoon of chicken stock. So the stock paste, we can make our vegetable stock paste. We can also make the chicken stock paste. And this is fantastic. We use a lot of this. So half a teaspoon of chicken stock paste. That's literally a whole lot of white vegetables, So, you know, celery, onion, leek, all those sorts of things, and a couple of chicken breasts and a whole lot of herbs and salt. Salt is the preservative. So I'm popping that in there. You can also do a meat one. I've made that once. I don't know if anybody else has used that much, but I found that if I've got the chicken and I've got the veggie one, then I'm fine. So I've got 2 sprigs of rosemary. I've just taken the rosemary off the woody bits. That's going in there. I've got 2 bay leaves here. And I think I've got more than 5 peppercorns, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. So that's going in there. Then I'm popping my simmering basket back in with my necks in. So really, we're making a big liquid stock. And that's going to cook for 50 minutes, which is why I started off doing it at the beginning. So 50 minutes, 98 degrees, reverse on speed 0.5, so half. So that's just going to, you know, do its thing in the background there. And just got to make myself a bit of space. And I'm going to just show you about rolling out the pastry for these mince pies, because the gluten-free pastry is a little bit different to mine. You saw how it was a bit wetter. So what I've actually done, I made this quite a bit earlier, so it's been in the fridge quite a long time. And I wrapped it up in this, which is called, I don't know, is somebody not on mute? So I can hear other things happening. Anyway, there's this stuff which is reusable and recyclable, and you can use it to wrap things up in. I've also used it to line, you know, instead of baking paper, I have used it to line something as well. I haven't cooked on it. Replaces cling film, aluminium foil, and baking paper. Okay, and it's just reusable. Okay, so I'm just going to find the spot in the recipe. So what I can do, because the next bit was actually making the fruit mince. So I'm going to my recipe detail. I'm going to come down here through my recipe. We've done the pastry bits. We've done the filling because we did that last week, and I've added a bit of alcohol to it. Preheat the oven to 180, grease the patty pan tin. So this is half of the mixture that I made earlier. So I have actually completed some mince pies, but I kept a bit so I can show you about the rolling. So I'm just going to go to this step here. Remove the pastry from the refrigerator and cut into 2 equal portions. Well, I've done that, and I've used one half. Place 1 portion of dough between 2 sheets of baking paper and roll out thinly. And this is one of the really important things whenever you're working with something that is gluten-free, that you do actually need to, you know, even with the crackers and things too, they're fantastic crackers, but you need to do it between baking paper, otherwise the mixture is too sticky. Now, I used this earlier, but you know me, I'm just using it again because I can, and it's all fine. And what I do find though is on our bench tops, it will slide around if I didn't have it on the other, this is the oven mat. So I put it on there so it's not going to slide around. And then I'm going to get my pastry out. You can see it's a lot firmer having been in the fridge. I'm hoping it's not too firm because I've been in there for a while. Anyway, I'll just squash it a little bit with my hands. And then I'm going to put the other bit on top and use my rolling pin. Now, just with your, probably should have pulled it out a few minutes before. Actually, I'll tell you what we could do. Is Mary there?
I'm here.
Wonderful. Well, why don't we go to you and you do your thing whilst this just sort of
Sure.
softens up a little bit.
Okay, so
hang on, but Boone will spotlight you. So
okay.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I'm making a brandy cashew cream, which is a vegan option for a brandy cream. So we'll start with 320 grams of raw cashews, which, oh, hang on. I actually didn't. Let's start again. So just, I should have pressed tear. So
That's a very good reminder for us all, though, to make sure that we tear before we waste things in. You did it on purpose, really, didn't you?
I did, really. Okay, so that's close enough, 318. So then I'm going to add in 40 grams of brandy. So again, well, that's on 0. So let's do, and this is quite sensitive, so especially with alcohol, just pour slowly. Oops, yeah, perfect. Then we'll go to 55 grams of pure maple syrup. So the other thing I just noticed, because this is my first time doing a demonstration, if I've got my hand on the actual Thermomix, it's actually, see how the scales are going up? So that's just something new I learned. Okay, so then 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, sorry, 2 teaspoons. That's, yeah. And 180 grams of water, which I've got here. Just a little bit over, but that's okay. And then what we'll do is we need to insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid and just turn the dial to
I see you answered the question, Boone. You found out about splitting brandy butter.
Yep.
Well done. So Robin just had too much alcohol. She might have to go and live with Pearl.
I did think of that when I saw that. Robin was asking, where did you get that greeno or greenia or whatever your green piece of thing is? Mandy.
Yeah. I'll have to Google it. I'll look it up and I'll let you know.
So we'll pop this on again for another 30 seconds. Okay, so let's see. So that's it. It's ready to serve. So let's have a look. Oh, it's quite creamy. It's actually, I've never tried this before, but it's
looks delicious.
It's really creamy and
looks beautiful,
and it smells beautiful.
Little teaspoon of that coming up to try, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. After trying to log on, absolutely.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's wonderful. Thank you. I've just had a look. So the brand is a greener, so it's A Green A, and there is actually a as a website. Oh, hang on. Yeah, there's a website. I think I got it. Can't think of the name of the Zero Waste Festival last year, I think. That's where I got it but there wasn't a Zero Waste Festival this year. but I bought it when we had a stand there last year. Anyway, so it's called A Green A. I'll put it in here.
It's all right, Mandy. I've got the website. I'll attach.
Well done. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to finish off these. And Nicole, I apologise. I should have been to you before, but I'm just going to do these because you're going to show your pastry in a minute. But I'll just finish off. I have battled. I have done my workout, my upper arm workout. So the lesson for this is take your pastry out before you need it. All right. Just to let it warm up a little bit. So I've just literally rolled it out. Now I have a seriously old baking tray for mince pies, but I like this because they're nice and rounded, and it's the sort of mince pies I grew up with. So it looks pretty grotty, but it's been very well washed and it is well greased. So that's what I'm going to make them in. And what I've got is I've got a set of these cutters which I love, and I'm just going to, so you can either use the serrated side or the round side, and I'm going to use the round side. I'm only going to show you a couple because I'm sure you all know how to make mince pies, but I just thought it's important to see how you roll out your pastry, and you do exactly like this if you are making the gluten-free crackers as well. And what I love with the crackers now is the cracker roller, because you end up with these really professional looking triangular crackers. Actually, I'll use a little bit of this pastry. I'll just show you how it works. These are on the mix shop. And literally all you do is you just go like that. Well, this isn't the right pastry. I mean, our right dough really, but I don't know if you can see here. Can you see that line through there? And it's got triangles on it. So when you're making the crackers, you do that over the cracker mixture, which is very different. It does not stick like this is stuck on here. And you just pop it into the oven on your baking mat, and they bake, and they're just fantastic, and they look really professional. Anyway, that's a little aside. I need to put a couple of mince pie into here. All right, so just going to prise this off here and pop it into my mince pie tray. I've got 3 here, and I'll finish off the others afterwards. So it says 3 millimeters. From the ones I made earlier, I reckon it needs, 3 millimeters is very thin. So these are definitely more than 3 millimeters. Might mean you don't make quite so many, but that's okay. Then I've got the beautiful fruit mince that we made last week, which is here. Just going to get a little stir. So that, oh, I'll tell you what, smells so good. What did I put? I think I put cherry brandy on that last week. So I'm just going to put a little bit in my mince pies. I mean, as I said, I'm sure you all know how to make a mince pie, but just quickly do this. And then what I'm going to do, you can with my set, I could use another one of these, a slightly smaller one, just paint the outside of my mince pie, put my lid on, and then you just make a little hole in the top to let the steam out. But I know Nicole's done the same because we were comparing mince pies earlier. I'm just going to do got these little cutters. I've got the little, I'm going to come out. It was funny, we were talking the other day about bloopers in our videos, and it's not quite a blooper, but so just going to put that on the top, and I'll do another one of those. This makes it a little bit festive, a little bit different. And I've also got a little Christmas tree cutter, so I'm going to do one of those as well. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So there you go. And I will keep going with these a little bit later. Then what happens is they have to rest in the fridge for another 30 minutes. And I believe, I don't know if Irene's on, but I believe that's all about, so your pastry shrinks back before you actually bake it. So that's really how, yeah, you use your gluten-free pastries and things. We'll go over to Nicole, and I apologize, Nicole. We should have been to you way before, and you can do your pastry. Show us your pastry.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Mandy. So I'm making the sweet short crust pastry from Cookie Dough. There's obviously a lot of short crust pastries out there that you can use, and there's a lot that are very basic. This one I tried for the first time yesterday, and I think it matches really well with the fruit mince that I've got in particular. It's quite sharp. I like it not too sweet, and it is very sharp. So there is a bit of sugar in the pastry, and it's quite rich with the egg. Which does really suit the kind of Christmas treat kind of theme that we're going with. So I'm just going to try and move the camera a little bit closer to the Thermomix so you can see what I'm up to, and I'll get started. Is that all right there, Mandy? I'm assuming you can see that all right?
Yes.
So we're going to start on the sweet short crust pastry. We've got 100 grams of sugar going in. And we're just going to mill that. So it's going to be very noisy just for a moment. I go next, and this is going to go on to speed 10 for 15 seconds. So bear with me just while this takes care of itself.
Gotta love Zoom because it cuts out all the noise, even though, you know, it would be a little bit noisier. So the great thing about milling your own sugar is you only need to have one sort of sugar. So you can make your cast sugar, you can make your icing sugar. Back to.
So I don't know if you could see it, but there's a fair bit of smoke coming out of the top there, which is just the powder from the sugar that's now very, very finely ground. Now we're going to add in 200 grams of unsalted butter, which I've cut into pieces there to make it a bit easier. And I just took that out of the fridge while Mandy was talking earlier, so it is quite cold still. It's really important when you're making pastry that your butter is cold when it goes in, which is why it's quite handy to make it in the Thermomix, especially when it's warmer as it is at the moment. It keeps your nice warm hands away from the butter. And I've got 370 grams of plain flour going in. I'll try and do without too much mess. 1 whole egg. A pinch of salt. And 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla sugar or vanilla extract. Now, when I made it yesterday, I found it was really vanilla-y, so I'm only putting in 1 teaspoon of this time. And we're popping the lid back on with the measuring cup in place. And that's just going to mix at speed 5 for 25 seconds. Now it says you can mix again if necessary, but that sounded good and it looks pretty good to me. It's not like Mandy's was, it's not super wet. It is kind of, it just feels like Play-Doh at this stage. And you need to wrap that up, same as Mandy did, to go into the fridge for about an hour. Now that makes it fairly firm. It's quite tricky to roll out once it's been in the fridge, but it is really important to keep it cold. So when I was rolling it out, I found while it was very hard, before I could cut it into shape, I did have to put it back in the fridge while it was rolled to make it firm enough to get the shapes that I wanted. But other than that, the process is pretty much the same as the gluten-free, except obviously we threw flour in.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nicole. If you want to come back to me, Boone. So I've got that far. So I will leave these because what we're going to do now is actually go on to finish off the Christmas cake. So I'll pop these just to one side. I have to move that, otherwise I'm going to be sticking my computer on top of it. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this recipe, and the way I can do that is just by clicking on those three dots. I can cancel my recipe. There we go. So I'll cancel the actual recipe. I am grabbing a clean bowl. Tap on there. And I'm going to come back in here to my week where I have this recipe, the Christmas cake recipe saved. So for those who were on last week, what we did last week was place a large sealable container onto the mixing bowl and weigh the dried fruit, the cherries, the apricots, I didn't put the glacé ginger in, sherry and the brown sugar. So this was really interesting. I'd forgotten about the brown sugar because when I was looking at the ingredients for today, there was no sugar. But it's all, I mean, obviously the fruit's going to be pretty sweet too, but all the sugar is in that mixture that I started off last week, which is here, and has had alcohol poured over it every day. So I used that cherry brandy to do that. So it's really beautifully moist and all those fruits all plumped up. So that's all looking really good. So we did add the spices, the vanilla extract and the almond extract. We did all that last week. Add 2 tablespoons of the drambuie or ginger wine. Well, we did just the whole zero wasting. I wasn't going to open a brand new drambuie or anything like that. So using up that cherry brandy. And it says, leave the fruit mixture to soak overnight. Repeat this process for the next 6 days with the remaining alcohol, combining well each time with a spatula. Okay. Then I meant to be preheating the oven, which, as I said, I'm not going to preheat the oven because I'm not staying up till midnight to cook this cake. So the next thing I'm going to do is this, which is 150 grams of butter, which I have in the fridge. So I'll just grab that. Okay. Butter in. Go. Pop the lid on. I'm going to use a lid I used before because it's only got icing sugar on the top of it rather than having to wash a third lid. 5 minutes, it's going to melt, and all I've got to do is turn it up to speed 1. Okay, now in that time, what I will do is just show you my finished mince pies. Now, a little lesson from these, oh, hold on, turn it down. Little lesson from these is not to take them out too soon. So I don't know what you've experienced before, but sometimes I've found that if the fruit mince sort of comes over the edge, then it can actually stick onto the tin and it's hard to get your mince pies out. So I didn't want that to happen. I don't know, my husband said no one will ever notice, but I'm going to show you. It's one in the middle. It's sort of collapsed outwards, and that's because I took it out too soon. So you do need to let them actually cool in there and then take them out. But it won't go to waste, I can tell you. That will be eaten very smartly. So that's my mince pies. Nicole, can we come back to you and see what yours, please?
Yep. Oh, I can't show you my plate. That's my mince pies. I had to make them quite big. I didn't have a mince pie tin. I only had a muffin tin, so they're best shared with friends. But like you, I was a bit keen and I tried to take them out while they were warm. And as soon as I did that, the pastry cracked. I just had to leave them in the molds until they were set. They were quite cool, like I could lift them out by hand, and then they came out perfectly.
Perfect. Thank you so much. They look amazing. So when you say share with a friend, are you each on, you know, like what's it called? What's that Disney thing where the two guys, the two cats,
the spaghetti.
Yeah,
the lady
the
in the
spaghetti.
tram.
I'm just thinking that I can just see you two on either side of the fighting over the mince pie.
We went with the easier option of just chopping it in half.
Okay, good plan. Good plan. All right, I've still got 3 minutes here. So has anyone got any questions? Anybody got anything they want to ask whilst we're here? It can be, doesn't have to be related to Christmas stuff, anything that you have or, you know, want to know about Thermomix wise whilst we're here. Might as well pick our brains. Everyone's an expert. Cool. Fantastic. All right, so what I thought we'd do, continuing on the theme of getting ready for Christmas, next week, team don't know this yet, what we're doing next week, but there's a really cool, actually, I know what I can show you. Whilst we're just waiting, we'll go on to Cookie Doo, and I'll show you a couple of things on Cookie Doo. Share my screen. All right, so this is our recipe platform. I love the way they've updated this, so it's all sort of Christmassy pictures behind the scenes there. I'm just going to go through to see more. You'll see that we've got a new recipe collection. I'll just go into collections instead of recipes, and it's these platter meats. So the top left-hand one is always the newest collection of recipes, and I thought these were quite interesting. I'm not big on pork, but a lot of them are pork ones, but just go on the theme of our grazing platters. I thought, you know, something like this, which I would make, is, you know, would be really nice in a grazing platter. You know, or you know, like the charcuterie platter that we had on the weekend. So there's certainly some stuff to investigate in there. As I said, a lot of them are do have pork in them. That's fine. Lots of people are pork fans. I'm not a pork fan, but there you go. And actually on that, I'm just going to go into festive flavour. So festive flavour is very much a Christmas, got lots of Christmas recipes in it. And what I thought, a couple of the recipes I thought we might do next week, more on the vegetable side of things. So getting people prepared to just think about some different things, possibly this salad. And there are a couple of other things in here. Where are they? I haven't made that, but someone said that was very nice. This is really good too. So that's another one you could actually use on one of those charcuterie type platters, or just use it for Christmas Day. But actually very easy to do. At one point I might make one and just film it and let you guys see see how you make that, but it's not hard at all. We've got all these different pavlovas, so plenty to choose from. But yeah, so I thought next week we'll do the steamed greens with the lemon feta, because that's a really nice one on Christmas Day. And this one is the root vegetables with the hazelnut pan grattato, which I don't know if I've pronounced that right at all. But I thought we won't necessarily do the vegetables, but we might make the hazelnut pan grattato so that you know how to make that, and you can use that if you want to. All right. So yeah, I just thought we might have a look at a few veggies. And there was also a surprise. It'll be a surprise. There'll be a bread one next week, a little bit surprise. So you'll have to tune in and see what it's going to be. But just whilst, if you're looking for other Christmas stuff, I'm just going to go into the filters. I'm going to do what Irene does. Oh, it's not allowing me to do that here. I'm just going to, sorry, get out of that. Go back to recipes, go into the filters. Come down the bottom here, I'm going to go English, get rid of the Australian. Now I'm going to have a look. I'm going to go back to my collections. I'm just going to put Christmas in, because you will see there are quite a lot of Christmas collections. So this is actually a book in the UK. I think it's got 60 something recipes in it from memory, 63 recipes. They're very cute. They've got, you know, spiced eggnog, there's dips, there's mulled wine. That's what I thought we might do next week, the Christmas tree pull apart. I think that looks really cute. So, so that's got a lot of great Christmas recipes in it. There's a gluten-free Christmas. There you go, Robin, that's for you. Vegan and vegetarian recipes, that's for Heather, if she's still on. And Mary for her girls. And other, you know, ones. We've got German Christmas baking, Christmas Day, Christmas dinner. So there's quite a lot of different recipes that you can have a look at if you're looking for Christmas things in there. All right, I'm going to stop that and come back because my butter is now melted. What's happening in here? Now I'm going to add in 110 grams of full cream milk. So I'm tearing my scales. Might be a mixture. I had to buy full cream milk for this ice cream I made. So we don't normally have full cream milk in the house. In fact, we rarely have milk in the house. But so I'm putting 110. I'm not sure if that's going to, hopefully that's enough. Oh, it is. Otherwise it was going to be not full cream milk. Okay. Half a teaspoon of bicarb soda. Grab a teaspoon. Okay, half a teaspoon of bicarb soda. We've got the butter, the bicarb, and the milk in there. And half a teaspoon of sea salt. Oh, salt there. Salt in there. 3 eggs. Sorry, I was obviously away with the fairies when I was preparing for this. I haven't got my eggs out. I'll grab them. I don't know how many. I think I've gone through a dozen eggs today with all the pastry and stuff. So just as my mother always does, break it in there so you don't waste the mixture in the bowl if you've got a bad egg, which I know is highly unlikely, but it does occasionally happen. So now the eggshells I will actually hang on to. Really good way of cleaning your blades. So you just pop the eggshells in, a little bit of you can do add a bit of lemon rind. So if you've used a lemon, you know, squeeze the juice of a lemon, you can put the rest of the lemon in and just blitz it all around, and that gives you a really clean bowl and blades, and makes it smell nice. 350 grams of plain flour. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pop this in. So this is plain flour, not for me. I don't need Christmas cake anyway, so it's going to be a very big job for my husband. Insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid, like that. And it's just going to mix for 5 seconds on speed 5. Scrape down the side of the bowl. So it's just mixed it up there. We'll just push these little bits down here. And it's going to give it another little mix. 5 seconds, speed 5. Transfer into a large bowl with the soaked fruit and combine it with a spatula. So I'm just going to grab my fruit. And put my cake mixture in here. Doesn't look like much mixture for all the fruit. It's going to be a seriously fruity cake. But I suppose that's what Christmas cake is. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm scraping out as much as I can. Always best to scrape down to the bottom and then go around in a clockwise direction, because then your spatula is hitting the rounded side of the blades, not the sharp side of the blades. But as you can see, I've still got mixture around my blades. So I'm going to turbo that again. Deal with that. So again, I'm just going to save the recipe. I'm going to flick across here, hit my turbo button. And again, click on my home button so that the lid will release. All right, so I don't know if you can see that my blades are beautifully clean now. So again, I'm just going to push down to the bottom of the bowl all the way around and go in a clockwise direction. There we go. And what I will do in a minute, I'm not going to do it now because it's a little bit noisy. Then I will put that on a pre-clean. Love it. Transfer into a large bowl and combine with a spatula until just combined. Tell you what, I didn't realize I was getting such a workout in my arms tonight. There's another recipe which I will actually get permission to share with you guys. It's, if you can't be bothered to do the make ahead Christmas cake, there's one that is 3 ingredients, and the lovely Fiona Hoskin, who's in my Facebook group, it's her recipe. So I will check with her. I think she'll probably let me share it with you because it's from a book. She's a really interesting lady. She was a chef in Tasmania and very passionate about the Tasmanian devils. And she created a cookbook called Devil of a Cookbook. And it was Tasmanian recipes and things that she'd created. And all the proceeds went towards saving the Tasmanian devil. She did some other fundraising things as well. She raised something like $1 million for to help save the Tasmanian devils, which is a really massive achievement. And her book, it is a Thermomix book, and quite interesting though now, because the way she eats has changed a lot. She is very much gluten-free and dairy-free. So you can just look her up. She's fionahoskin.com.au, and she has free recipes on her, free Thermomix recipes on her website. And she's also got some little books that you can download as well. All right, there we are. I'm going to put this into my tin. So I'm using the 22 centimetre rose gold tin from the mix shop. That's what I'm doing next. It's a prepared tin. I'll tell you what's heavy. There we go. So you can see it's absolutely jam-packed full of fruit. My dad will have to look down from heaven, but the cherries, he'd be going for all the cherries. So I will bake that tomorrow. So it says I had to heat the oven, I think it was to 180. And then what it says now is to reduce the temperature to 120 and bake for 3 to 4 hours, or until a wooden skewer inserted into the center of the cake comes out clean. Allow the cake to cool on the tin for 10 minutes, transfer onto a wire rack, and allow to cool completely before serving or storing in a sealable container. So I think my husband's going to be reasonably happy with that. He normally makes the cake actually, but I've taken it away from him, but he's making the pudding. All right, so that is pretty much it for tonight. The only thing I should have said before is if anybody's interested in joining our team, we're looking for people to join our team. And we've got some really cool incentives for people who want to become a consultant. So if you're interested, please contact the person who invited you here tonight to find out about that. Our current purchase offer is anyone purchasing before the end of the 31st of December gets $150 to shop in the Mix Shop, which is our amazing, where you can buy things like the roller, you can buy the tin. I've just used a whole lot of stuff. They got really lovely, a great variety of things up there, from things for babies to I don't know, all sorts of stuff, eco things, you know, eco-friendly things, all sorts. So yeah, so worth having a look at. And as I said, it is $150 voucher for anyone purchasing a Thermomix in December. And host rewards. So if anybody wants to host, we can do things virtually, we can do things face-to-face now. There are some great options with that. Thermo servers, the mats that I used tonight as well, they're also another host reward option. So has anyone got any questions now, or are you all good? Gonna have a look at the gallery, see if anyone's got questions.
Yes, they
Rob?
can all come off mute.
Yeah, you're welcome to come off mute if you have got any questions. No? Cool. So Robin, I hope you can find that stuff that through the link that Boone put there. Yeah, we'll be on again next Tuesday, 8 o'clock. And you're welcome to come and do some more pre-Christmas cooking with us. Thanks for coming.
And Mandy, I just wanted to show my
Oh, sorry, Mary. Let's go back to you.
That's
Absolutely.
okay, that's okay. I didn't realise I was on mute. My Brandy Cashew cream, I put it in the freezer and it will make a really nice ice cream once it gets cold, or like it freezes as well. So yeah, I've just put it with some strawberries and some mint, and I'm sure it'll taste delicious, seeing I don't have any mince pies or cake.
The other thing I noticed actually in one of those vegan collections, they had a vegan gingerbread trifle, I think it was. I thought that actually could be very nice on there as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So worth having a look at.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry to forget you there, Mary. I've obviously
No
had a
worries.
forgetful evening. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.